Hello, everybody. This is Edgar Winter. Let's rock.
It sounds like the Lone Star Blues. I never felt so all alone. Go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, go.
But it must be so wild. I remember when I saw Paul McCartney, when he came out on stage, the whole crowd kind of stopped for a minute and just said, "Whoa, that's a Beatle." Do you get that feeling when you're on stage with a Beatle every now and then, look over and say, "Holy crap, that guy was a Beatle"?
Absolutely. One of my there are certain moments that you remember throughout all the years. Certainly Woodstock stands out for me. Selling out Madison Square Garden, playing Albert Hall the first time, playing with so many, like playing with Leon Russell, playing with Michael McDonald in his band, and playing with Ringo. But the one that stands out in my mind was 2010, and it was Ringo's 70th birthday, and we were playing New York Radio City Music Hall, and there was this special surprise planned for Ringo, which he had no idea was going to occur. And we had walked off stage, and we were coming back on for the encore. I'm walking on, and then coming toward me is Sir Paul McCartney and Joe Walsh, and Paul straps on his Hofner, dun, 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 say it's your birthday, and I had that cool underwatery that piano sound, and it just sounded so cool. And I can't believe this is happening. I'm on stage with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr and Joe Walsh. It just blew my mind, and it's definitely one of those moments that I'll never forget.
That's amazing. All right, I'm going to tell you one little story about my experience with Johnny Winter, and then I can't thank you enough for this. This has been amazing. But I saw Johnny open for George Thorogood back when I was about 14 or so, and I had never heard of Johnny Winter at that time. I grew up on Van Halen and stuff like that.
What year was this about?
Oh, I'm guessing like 84, 85.
Okay. All right.
And I had never heard of this guy before, and I got there, and it was probably about my third concert I'd ever seen. And I watched the show. He played for about 45 minutes, and my jaw was on the floor for all of those minutes. And I became a lifelong fan right after that gig. And it taught me a really important lesson, and that is never miss an opening artist, because you never know what you're going to get. And now, even to this day, I will not miss an opening act because of that show, because who knows what you're going to get. And that one, it was one of those life-changing guitar experiences watching him play.
Johnny was incredible, in his prime. As I said, I don't, you think like who the best guitar players, like Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and people that have gone like Hendrix. And I saw there was a club in New York called The Scene that was like everybody went to, and our manager owned the club, and they used to be the Young Rascals. The Rascals were like the house band, but you'd see the Stones, you'd see the Beatles, Elton John, before anybody knew who he was when he came over, people like Joe Cocker and all these people. And I saw Johnny was sitting in, and Jimi Hendrix was in the audience, and I said, oh, I hope. And there was like 10 guitars up there. Jimmy played the bass. He got up there and played the bass, and I think that speaks volumes. Not to like Johnny you wouldn't want to get in a showdown with a guitar slinger like Johnny. And I'm not saying that Jimmy was afraid to do that, but he did he did elect to play bass instead of picking up a guitar. Uh, and I couldn't agree with you more about opening acts. I know uh, we used to like we used to open like with White Trash. Uh, we used to blow people's minds, and we'd play with somebody like Alice Cooper or Ozzy, Black Sabbath, or even like some kind of a band like uh, ELO, like every kind of group that you can think of. And White Trash was just one of those bands that was unique, and like we uh, we had a hard time. We couldn't, people wouldn't let us open. we were just we would we would change the like something would happen when White Trash played that was very you know I love that. I love that band, and it was very special to me because we played a style of music that you don't hear anywhere else in the world other than in that little area of Texas, like right next to Louisiana, the Golden Triangle, the Gulf Coast there. And even in Texas, like Texas is huge, and there's all kinds of music there. But the thing about it is like there's real authentic cowboys playing country music, and it's close to Mexico, so you've got this infusion of hot Latin rhythm players. Close to Louisiana, so you've got all this Zydeco kind of French Cajun country music, and then you've got like North Texas, which is a great jazz school. So you've got all of these educated jazz kind of players thrown into the mix, and I just didn't get it. Like I grew up in that and never appreciated it until after I left home and then went up to New York, thinking, oh, this is going to be the greatest musicians in the world. But there wasn't anything like that. There was not like a New York sound to me. It was a great melting pot and great musicians, but it was sort of like the difference between gumbo and chicken soup. It's like those people. And I looked all over when I decided to put my first band together, and I ended up going back home and getting the guys that I grew up playing with back down around Beaumont. There just wasn't anybody that played like that. And like you pointed out about chemistry in bands, that's the whole thing is finding. I think like in White Trash, the fact that we all came from that area, that made a unique band. With the Edgar Winter group, like Dan Hartman had this sort of youthful enthusiasm, and then Ronnie Montrose was like the bad boy, kind of had more of a dark edge. They were an interesting contrast. And then Chuck Ruff was just like a ray of sunshine, just shaking his hair and playing the drums, having a great time. And I think chemistry is what makes the album Brother Johnny work, because it's the love that went into that album. Like the people, like to a man, everybody that was on there, they were like, we haven't mentioned Taylor Hawkins, and Taylor I'd never met before, and that's another. The song he played on Guess I'll Go Away, to me is the most advanced song that Johnny ever wrote, and is by far the hardest rocking song on the record. I mean, it's like a real rock song. It's hard rock. It's almost heavy metal, but because of that, I wanted a younger, more modern approach vocally. And when I was talking to Ross about it, and Ross knew all the Foo Fighter guys, and he suggested Taylor, and I said, oh man, I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan. I said that would be perfect. And you know, Taylor, his sincerity, I tried to open a business discussion with him, and he would not hear of it. He just said, man, I love Johnny. I don't want anything for doing this. I just want to get out there and rock. And boy, rock he did. And it just another example of how you know, people, and he was so together and so like, he's the last person in the world I would ever have expected, you know, to have drug issues of any kind. He was just like totally positive and focused and really together. And when I just sort of said, I can be really kind of difficult to work. I'm very opinionated, and I have very definite ideas. But when I saw what Taylor was doing, I said the best thing I can do is just step back and stay out of the way here. And he did a great vocal on that song. And I just I so regret that I never had a chance to get to know him and to thank him as he deserved, you know, for doing that. Because he just came in there, and he came in like 2 or 3 times, put on vocal harmonies and stuff that, like, you know, stuff that he didn't need to do. He just did it out of his heart, and that was a beautiful thing.
Oh, such a tragic loss.
And you know, the thing, it's like, you know, I wrote something on our website, but I've never talked about Taylor because, you know, the last thing I want to do, I know that all the, like the Foo Fighters camp, I love those guys, and I would never try to exploit Taylor's name, you know, to promote my own project. And as I said, I wish there's something that I could have done, you know, to thank him. But the circumstances of it are so bizarre. It's like a tribute within a tribute. That song, like now, like that song was a song that Johnny wrote around the time of his first drug rehab. And it's a song about the lure of sex, the danger of drugs, and love of rock and roll, and kind of a cautionary song in those regards. And so Taylor comes in and sings this song, and then goes on the road himself and dies under such similar circumstances, dies in his sleep in a hotel room, exactly the way Johnny passed on. So it's like a tribute within a tribute. That song is now not only a tribute to Johnny, but it's a tribute to Taylor. But I just it's just so bizarre to me that it would happen in that way.
Yeah, I think you probably thanked him enough by letting him be on the album and perform it. I mean, that's what he wanted, right?
Well, that's I think you're right. I don't know what else.
That's the ultimate thank you, is to have somebody honor your brother and your family, right?
Well, thank you for saying that. I think you're right. That makes me feel better, as a matter of fact.
Good. Like, I hope so. I'm sure he just loved doing that, and why say thank you when
that's what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, this has been absolutely amazing. These stories are incredible.
Yeah, I'd like to, just in closing it out, like I think if as I said, I tried to make this not only a tribute to Johnny, but a tribute to the blues, and to make a great guitar record. So if you know Johnny, you're going to love this record. But if you just love the blues or you just love music, I think you're going to love the album Brother Johnny. I'm just going to hold this. This is the vinyl cover, which is a 3D reticular cover that shifts from Johnny's image to mine.
Very
and
cool.
It's going to come out around June. Vinyl is backed up, but this will be a beautiful addition to anybody's collection. It's like really good 180 gram vinyl. It won't warp or wobble. And there's a 32-page booklet with liner notes that I wrote myself, detailing the whole, like the making of the album. But you know, what I always felt and this is the thing that was in my mind in making the record, which is I always felt like for Johnny, no matter how long I lived, whatever happened in my life, how far I ended up from home, that there was always one person that would know what I had been through. And you know, Johnny and I growing up as kids, we had not only that musical bond, but both being albino, we had a sort of different world view. And it was in that spirit that I tried to make this record. And I just want to thank all of our fans that have followed my career, as well as that of my brother Johnny throughout all these years. We love you all. Couldn't have done it without you. And I hope to see you all out there on that long and grinding road sometime soon. And get ready to rock and roll.
Yes, sir. And also, I'd like to say one more thing. You said you haven't made a new record in a long, long time. How about that? How about making one of those?
Well, are you talking about when is the next one coming, or?
Yeah, your own music.
Yeah, I will. You know, I have a lot of things that I'm interested. I've been writing a lot of poetry, and I have a book of poetry called The Songs That Never Were, that a lot of them started out as song lyrics. And I love to write. It's almost equal to music. And my mother used to read from the Bible and from the Lord of the Rings and books like the Chronicles of Narnia. I love that style. I have this series of short stories that occur in this mythical realm called the Shadowlands, and then I have some music called Shadow Dance. It's sort of like a soundtrack to those books. And I've got like a kind of Broadway musical version of Frankenstein so kind of scattered all over the universe, cool ideas that I hope that I will get a chance to do. I was thinking about doing a tribute to all the great Texas blues people. I'd call it Texas Till. But you know, there's people like Lightning Hawkins and Johnny Guitar Watson, and of course, like, you know, ZZ Top, and there are so many great people, T-Bone Walker. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Stevie
I
Ray
might
is
make
from
a,
Texas
I
too.
might, pardon me, Stevie Ray, of course.
Stevie Ray is from Texas, yeah.
Absolutely. And all of those, you know, I would pay tribute to all of those people. Well, that might be the next thing I do. I really don't know, but I'll be continuing to make music, regardless of whether it's on record or played live. And, you know, as I said, you never hear me talking about a farewell tour. So I enjoyed talking with you, Ken. It's been
Me
a
too.
great
It was
pleasure.
an absolute pleasure.
And thank you for helping us get the word out. And hopefully this will be, I'd mentioned, like, you know, there's so many great guest performances on here that although I don't usually listen to my own albums, this is one that it's almost like it's Johnny's album, and I'm just another guest on this one. And I get so much out of this every time I put it on. And so I hope it will affect everybody that way, that you'll, if you remember Johnny, that you'll go back and listen to all his old stuff. And if you've never heard him, you know, go back and find out who he was. I think Johnny should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe we can get that to happen.
Let's work on that for sure.
Okay,
we'll get on that. Well, thanks again. It's been an honor.
You're most welcome.
And
peace and love.
Peace and love. We'll see you in Kingston.
Well, I know you'll enjoy the show, and you know, you're going to have a great time. So
awesome. I'm looking.
I'll be thinking of you on that night.
Awesome. And
okay.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again. Best of luck. And wow, amazing stories. Thank you.
Cool. Bye-bye.